Hello everyone, this is Pharaoh Vincent with Nation 1111. This video is Path to Power Part 2. This is going to be focused on two aspects of officers. Specifically, where to put your officer skill EXP and your officer leveling EXP. And this video, I want to say, is a bit interesting in the sense that there's a lot of different ways to do this. You're going to hear a bunch of different things throughout your nation, throughout your, colleagues, the members of your alliance. Everyone's going to have a little bit of a different opinion. And it's not wrong, most of these opinions, but I want to talk about my strategies, why I recommend them, and what they do for me. The first and kind of immediate thing that I really want to address is, what the two methods are. Essentially, you have a group of people, a core group of people, especially older nations, that really want to focus on power first. The reason being is older nations are very used to a lot more bloody conflict than I think a lot of newer nations are. Newer nations have the wisdom of years where they can see that, hey, if you talk to people and work together, they generally listen better. Old nations are like, no, I'm going to hit you until you shut up. That's essentially how that goes. So, depending on how your nation is, if they're more the hit you and shut up kind, you may want to focus on power. If people are content to sit back and farm, then make sure that you're one of the best farmers out there. And don't take farmers as an insult, as long as the farm that you're doing is dedicated towards making you a stronger city that can compete better in events. And when I say stronger city, I mean statistically speaking. I don't mean troops. This doesn't make me strong. Okay. These do. The officers. Most of your stats come from your officers, which is why this is the first video in the series. And I'm going to give everyone my method. My method focuses on building a efficient infrastructure to gain more power over a longer period of time. So, again, my system focuses on building infrastructure, which is essentially killing more zombies over a longer period of time. So early on, I'm going to recommend doing things that some people are going to have their whole explosion over. I promise there's a method to my madness. So, what is that method? First things you need is Saki and Morgan. Before you get Saki and Morgan, in terms of skills, everything else is nice to have. Not everything else is required to have. You're not likely to get them pretty early as a free-to-play player, but you will eventually get them. And when you do, as soon as you can get a skill on them, the first skill I recommend is Fuel Up. Fuel Up is amazing. Mobility recovery speed is what increases the amount of zombies you can kill. It makes your mobility stat go down, which is good because it's based off of a time. So you can get one fuel over every blank amount of seconds. My case is 1 over 121 right now. And my goal is the maximum, or the theoretical maximum, which is I believe 1 over 84 last I did the math, which it might be more now. I don't know. So what exactly does that give you, right? More zombies equals more EXP. These books. So specifically, you get 500 and thousands from zombies. It's not a guaranteed drop, it's a random drop, but the more zombies you get, the more chances you have of getting those. So that's why Fuel Up is the very first skill that I highly recommend. From there, the next most important skill on strategy officers And the next skill that I recommend leveling is first aid, also to level 10. The city didn't quite have enough books for it. I could raise a level right now. You get the idea, but right now I don't really need it. I'm a little troop heavy, so I'm not in a rush. First aid gives you wounded ratio. Wounded ratio is amazing because it allows you to keep troops that would previously die, and it saves you time. This is true for both Saki and Morgan. I'm actually going to jump up now to directors because you leave them at level 1. You ideally want them 5 stars, and you are going to level breakthrough skills. We'll get to those in a future video. But skill-wise, I'm personally an output guy, so I always get the processing output, steel, and mineral output. Why do I do these? Because these are the skills that I recommend you use every single day, because I'm always gathering gold. I'm never gathering steel or minerals. If I'm never gathering steel or minerals, I don't really need them. So there's that. Load is a tricky skill because load is one that was previously recommended and still isn't bad. The cool thing about load, I don't have it on him, but the cool thing about load, there it is it gives you an extra, 4%, give or take, extra 4% resources that you'll gain from hitting a city, which is kind of okay if you're like attacking in Void and Frenzy. I don't know. I personally find that 8% extra resource output is better because it's going to help more things. That's just my own humble opinion. I'm going to ignore the skills on machinists and drill masters because they are set. Warfare officers are all the same. Attack of choice, expert of choice, HP of choice. You want to level them all at relatively the same amount. So like having this at 12 and that at 18, not super recommended. However, the city came this way, and resetting the books is something that I don't recommend doing because you're going to lose and it doesn't matter. Like, it's not worth resetting a skill to get the other one up to that level. Just level this going forward. Chip away at it one level at a time. So again, fuel up in first aid to level 10. It's 122 skill books each. So that's 244, another 244. And then the rest of the time, up until you get to level 20, you're going to level all of these one at a time. Forever and ever and ever. You can sprinkle in levels in these skills specifically for for drill masters and machinists, because the long range and mid range weakened skills are actually really good because it's reducing the enemy attack. So if you really want to get technical, you can absolutely do a level at a time of every single one of these skills from machinist down, keep them all around the same level. I do recommend skipping the intensive medical training for the hospital increase because really you should be avoiding that most likely. And most people will. And that's kind of the skill leveling order. So again, I've simplified this a lot, but fuel up, first aid, everything else, keep it around the same level. It seems strange, but it is the way that you can gain the most kind of floor-based power. And so what do I mean by floor-based? Like, if you think of it like building a house or a foundation, when you build everything up from the ground up and keep it all around the same place, keep it all fairly level, it actually increases a lot more over time, because this game, every time you level something up, it costs more. So going from 18 to 20, right, is going to cost, what, 62 2-ish skill books. Going from 12 to 13 is going to cost 44-ish. So you can see that's a very big difference. So having this over here, I mean, I could technically gain a level from 7 to 8 and still gain power. If you are, I guess, like me, coming into a city that's already built up a bit, paying attention to the levels of officers is important, because like getting this skill here up a level would probably be more beneficial than getting something on a level 20 officer, but that's its own argument. Now, for the last little thing, the actual leveling. So currently you can see that my Saki and my Morgan are level 46. Max level for an officer is 55. I genuinely recommend getting Saki and Morgan both level 55 as soon as humanly possible. The tricky part with that is, you know, if you need to fight or need to place really well, then this may not be beneficial. But I am going to finish leveling these to 55 before I touch any of these other officers. At that point, everyone else below this is going to be the exact same level. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to level everyone equally until I get everyone level 55. So again, strategy officers level 55 first, my humble opinion. Again, this is just to max out fuel up, but also like the fleet size is literally the best stat in the game. So getting that higher fleet size is always important. Yes, you're going to be a bit of a paper tiger up until a bit, and it's going to certainly, like, in terms of power dynamics within your city, you're going to heavily index to fleet, but your fleet's going to be pretty pathetically weak until you finish that grind. But in terms of how long does that actually take, if you are dedicated to killing zombies and you do it constantly, you know, these guys are going to gain levels at least weekly up until 55. So in about 10 weeks, I should be done with getting these two to 55. At that point, you know, you're looking at about the same, well, if not a little under that in the amount of time to get everyone else up there. The reason being is they're the ones who are that are dictating how many zombies I can kill. So the best way I can describe this is they're going to make that part faster. Right now, it's going to take me about 10 weeks to do that. If they were both level 55 and I was trying to get, let's say, you know, Tifa and Zeus to level 55 from a relatively similar place, it would probably, I mean, it only took me, it took me a week and a half to get from 53 to 55 on my city in 443. So in terms of relative experience, I could have these guys leveled up from where they're at right now in probably like 3-4 weeks. And that is, again, going from 46 to 55. It'd probably take about 3 to 4 weeks. And that's without spending, in case anyone is wondering. Like, I'm not kidding when I say that there's a lot of experience to be gained just killing zombies. So, if I have not hammered this home enough, kill more zombies. Your nation, and every nation in this game, should start to celebrate commander levels. These right here, the commander levels, they should start to celebrate commander levels like city levels. If somebody raises their commander level, throw fireworks up over them, like link them in chat, give them a bunch of cheer emojis. I don't care. Do it. Because that means they're killing zombies. That means they're doing their ruins. That means they're doing the things every single day that they should be doing in order to gain more power. So that is Officers in Path to Power. Again, Stage 1, Officer EXP, Officer Skill EXP. The next video in this series is going to be a hard one for me to record. It's probably going to be an insanely long one, because we're going to talk about breakthrough skills, 6-star skills, what order to level them in, and I have a feeling it's going to take a while. There's new officers, there's more breakthrough skills, and so there's a little bit more of a floor to deal with there. The video after that's going to be Officer Equipment. And that one is going to also be long by itself, because it is a pretty insane system to deal with. So with that, subscribe if you'd like to see those future videos. Continue to support the channel as much as you guys can. I appreciate it. And, share your video within your nation. I actually see those statistics. Something about 20% of my videos are clicked on through a link, right? 20% of my views are people clicking on links, which is insane. That's great. That's wonderful. Please keep doing that. Because that's kind of just showing YouTube, hey, like, people are trying to find this guy from other sources and are listening. So genuinely, I appreciate it. Please consider supporting my Patreon. It will help me to make more videos, more content at a faster rate. Right now, I'm having to contend a lot with real life getting in the way of that. Patreon does help to alleviate how much real life I need to deal with. So just throwing that out there. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you on the next one.